figured we would do it tonight.
Yeah, it's not letter.
Apparently not.
It's a lot of drinks tonight.
Guess I'll mention that.
Do what?
That's a lot of drinks. When you start bringing a lot, we know
Hydration is really
it's gonna be
important
here
in the
a while.
summer.
No, when I
Oh,
drink
no.
Mountain Dew, I have to like drink a lot of water with it because it's tough on your tummy. So I'm like,
But you want them.
but I drink a lot of water anyway, so. It's very common to have for your family. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. It is, 6:33. And we'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this opportunity to come before you tonight. Thank you most of all for your Son. Lord, give us wisdom and guidance. Give us discernment. Give us as much foresight as we can as we plan for our constituents and the students in this district. Help us to move it forward and serve you in the process. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, announcement that this meeting has been duly called and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code. Those present, Clint Shy, Don Gilliam, Renee Rayfeld, Melissa Sartain, Liz Gosh, and Dan Wright. Public participation, we do actually have one person, Mr. Minnick.
My name's Gary Minnick, and I've never had the pleasure of shaking your hand. You guys have done a wonderful job on everything that's been going on. The last time I was here for public comment was the first day you were, and everything I mentioned then you guys have done. You've done studies, it's all worked out great, and I want to give Katie Clark just absolutely fantastic kudos. I mean, I've dealt with real estate, well, certain things I can't talk about. All right, but really a great and super employee, knows her stuff, asks the right questions with all product people involved. I'm here on a new topic entirely, and it has to do with the next generation, maybe 10 years out in advance. And the reason I brought this up is because just less than a week ago, I got this notice from the city of Seguin that they're going to have public hearings on July 7th and August 6th. And it really would be great if it doesn't cost the district any money or ever will, if you just decide that the shortest and greatest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Let's put it that way. Write those dates down, ask the superintendent what the heck he was talking about, and please, I implore you to look at this and move the proposal of dotted lines out there in the middle of nowhere, 1,000+ feet away from the entrance of your new facilities, etc. And it won't be anything that you guys ever have to contend with. Like I said, it's going to be years in advance, but right now they're having the public hearings to put dots on their map. They first started putting dots on this map back in 2007 or so, way, way back. And nothing's been done, and nor will it probably be ever done in the future. But if not, if we lay silent on this little thing, future board members and other neighbors of mine and whatnot will be very much affected. And it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it really should be done. Let the county just put dots on the map and just move on with our lives, which it's very important. So much so that I would like, after that passes, like this is all new business, that the frontage road, I won't mention its name, be renamed to School Road with, on the street sign, Navarro ISD. You know, this is the best of school districts around. People want to live in the neighborhoods where the school districts have such a great reputation of education and everything else you guys are building and doing really, really well. So, you know, I'm going to have a bit of a climb. There's only 3 neighbors involved that would be saying, don't change my address to School Road. But if we did that, then all in the future, it could never be faster than 20, 25 miles an hour. And the reason I want it on the computer and on the road for that distance, just in front of your school basically, or further on if further neighbors agree, the future people get their directions off their phone, their cell phone. And in major cities, when the freeways are tied up and whatnot, they go, what's the quickest way out of this traffic jam? And throughout Southern California, as well as major metropolitan areas all throughout the United States, Denver, etc., if there's ways to get through a neighborhood and around a traffic jam, they're going to do it. But the little cell phone with already saying it's a school road is not even going to direct them that way. It never makes sense to go down a school road that's permanently 20, 25 miles per hour. So I'm asking you on those dates to give your thumbs up to making the dots on a map move to a better location away from your main entrance. If you'd please do that, it doesn't cost you anything financially or ever will at the school in the future, but it is something that all the developers moving out there, putting houses everywhere, they are required by state law, and the county and the city are all required by state law to put these dots on a map for future. And what dots I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I can't go any further. But thank you very much. Remember, Katie Clark is really, I've seen a lot of real estate people, but she's gotten down detail on so many different levels that I don't want to go into. But I thank you all for giving me the time. And oh,
Thank you.
was that a time thing?
Your
Okay.
time is actually up. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on into construction updates.
Hello.
Hola.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
Good evening, President Rayfield, members of the board, Mrs. Epley. Proud to be here tonight to show you quite a difference, which I'm sure you all can see from the street. Despite the weather we've had over the past few weeks, progress still continues. This area, we keep calling it A1. It's your classroom portion, 2-story part of the building that really stands out now when you drive by. As you can see in this photo, as well as from 123, the sheeting is all around the first floor, on the classroom portion of the building only, as well as the framing going up through the second floor there. This is a picture looking down one of the corridors on the first floor. We have the plumbing in the walls, electrical, door frames up. Pretty much all the framing is up for first and second floor now. But I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what it looks like in there. And for those of you that were wondering, on the temp lighting, it is going to remain on 24/7. So when you drive by, just for safety of the site, they will be leaving that on. Also, the electricians, I guess, have a special way to connect to power that temp lighting, and unless they want to stay late to disconnect it. So mainly for security, but the question was raised, and so I thought I'd just share that with y'all too. This is what a typical classroom looks like. Not very clear from here, but really good size. See the ductwork coming in. There's some actual electrical conduit there in the walls, but this kind of gives you an idea of what it would look like when you step foot in through the doorway of the classroom. Ductwork, we have a lot of it. So this, I just keep calling it Schlitterbahn, just coming in through the chase, going out to the next 2 or 3 classrooms in both directions. This is second floor view. This was last week, so not all the framing was done at this point, but gives you a good perspective of coming up the stairs. And these stairs are on the north side of the building, so you see that when you look towards the building from that angle. Looking down one of the corridors, you can also see the roof decking on here, which is 100% complete, just for the initial roof decking portion. But the next phase will be starting to cut in and setting some of the HVAC equipment up on the roof. This is a glimpse from just outside the auditorium area, kind of looking back. You can just kind of see how far the steel is extending now. That actually goes through your cafeteria and kitchen. And this is looking down from the second floor at the competition gym. So what's in green and we poured this morning, that's actually the visitor seating area of the competition gym. Am I fading in and out? In the middle there is going to be the actual gym floor, and the background is going to eventually be the practice gym. We have a lot of footings and big stem walls that are kind of to the right side of this picture that go all the way down. So it's been a lot of excavating in this area, and every time it rains, they have to clean it out and basically start again. So we're trying to excavate, form, pour, and keep moving on. And the background there to the upper left, that's going to be CTE, dance, band hall, the back side of the auditorium. This is looking at your cafeteria kitchen and the start of installation of the steel for all the high ceilings in the auditorium. See that big giant crane out there now? That's what it's lifting. It's lifting all the steel. The auditorium as of today really looks like a stage in a future auditorium. I think I showed you pictures previously on all the plumbing that goes into the locker room. So it's all been inspected and now it's getting, it's backfilled as of today. So as of last week, when I submitted my presentation, this was all the building pad has been poured to date. As of today, to the left is the CTE portion of the building that's now poured, and then in the upper and the gym portion to the right and to the top of this floor plan was poured this morning. So almost there. This is looking from the second floor north, the rear drive from Link Road. This would be turning into, coming into where the buses would come for bus pickup. If you turn to the right there, that goes into the student parking lot and future band practice area. This is another angle looking more directly towards the student parking lot, how much we have poured to date. The next portion of pours, kind of in the middle of the picture there, is pretty much formed up. So depending on how weather looks this week, we'll try to get that one done. So as far as site concrete, I apologize, I should have had this highlighted, but that whole rear drive on Link Road, which is the longest portion of road there to the upper left, that's all poured. Coming in towards the school from that is that driveway we just looked at, and then the parking lot to the north here, that's your student parking lot. So we have probably 20% of it poured. But the house is gone, trees removed, the drainage area has been graded. As of Friday, we received our permit from TxDOT to begin road work. So pretty soon we're going to start excavating here and getting the culverts installed. That was great news to receive last week. So last month, this is what we looked at. Steel up on the second floor. In the middle, bottom left, is your admin area. Going to be the library upstairs from there. Then the gyms and auditorium to the back, all the concrete. And this is as of today. Got all the roof decking up, more steel, second floor decking going on the other side of the big firewall. See the main commons area, and this is before they started putting up all the big auditorium steel, but it's a great overview. So Clint, when you were asking about the steel laydown yard, that's at the top, kind of where all the cars are. Yeah, in between cars and there's staging areas with all the steel. So traffic signal design, that's what I just touched on. We got the permit with TxDOT, so that'll allow Bartlett Cox to get pre-construction meeting scheduled with TxDOT. By next month, we should have approval of all the work to be done in that area, which is covered in the GMP allowance we have for that work. For FF&E procurement, you have that on your consent agenda to look over tonight. As far as the Link-Huber intersection, we've reached out to 3 surveyors to get that work surveyed. The land that it's gonna take to need, we have to make some turning lanes off of Link and Huber. And according to some meetings that Ms. Epley and AGCM had this week for the athletics, there's gonna be additional work that we're gonna look into in those areas. So it's kind of just on our radar, trying to figure out when's the right time and what the proper steps are to do that. I have safety and security up here just to let you know that we're on a timeline for the video surveillance. We've looked into a few companies with Mr. Rain. And so we had a meeting this morning to start getting design drawings developed, equipment purchased so we can get it in. They have all the conduit going in, all the electrical drawings are already drawn for the locations of the cameras, but now just making sure we have the right data drops and electric and the right power in the right places. And this also goes along with access controls. We had Walker Engineering, the district engineering firm, out this last week, walking the building, looking at status. So we're just waiting for a few final questions from the architect to come back and start getting going on the access controls as well. Other than that, any questions?
But I don't know if I can I don't know if I can ask it the right way. Okay, so back here where we are supposed to connect into Link Road, is that what you're talking about, that we are not fully permitted to connect into that yet, or we are fully permitted?
We have design work to do there. That's a part of our city permit requirement.
We don't have
So
that
we
yet.
have that included,
Okay.
but down at Lincoln Huber,
Oh, down here. But this one back here, we already have that
Yes.
approved, and we are permitted for that,
yes,
to connect directly.
yes.
Okay, that's what I
Yes.
needed to know. Thank
Yeah,
you.
now, how the traffic flows off of the link is gonna be,
That may
so
be
there's a
different,
gate there.
But we're
so just be
permitted
careful.
for connecting
Right.
to Link Road right now.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Any other questions? Well, thank you. Very exciting.
Oh, one note, sorry. If there's anything y'all wanna see more of, let me know. I mean, I just kinda go off of last month and just kinda show you updates, but please feel free to reach out and just let me know what you wanna see.
Thanks.
That's great. Okay, now we're gonna move into bond 2024 discussion item.
Good evening. Hello. We're on. There we go. All right. Good evening, Dwayne Westerman with Samco. Pleasure to be with you. Wanted to go through the next step in the process of issuing bonds after the successful election in May. There we go. All right. So for tonight, later on the agenda, we'll have an agenda item for consideration, and that will be to proceed with the issuance of the remaining bonds from the election back in November of 2021. There's 35 million from that election, and then to proceed with a portion of the bonds that were authorized this May. And right now, we're looking at a total combined of the two of 55 million to proceed with the next steps in the process. What you are approving is a delegated or parameter order, and with that, we would move forward and look at marketing and pricing the bonds the last week of June, and then being able to have the funds in your hands towards the last week or towards the end of July. So right now, you obviously had the successful election. There was a 30-day contest period We've applied for the permanent school fund guarantee, and that will be approved. We should get that letter, I believe it's gonna be on the 24th, Monday the 24th. It's 15th business day of the month. So that's one of the things we're waiting on. We've been working with Ms. Epley and Paul as far as getting all the documents together, getting everything ready to move forward with the sale. So this parameter or delegated approval is a process that we've used before, and it approves and authorizes from the board's perspective the sale of the bonds and delegates the final terms to authorized officials, which would be the superintendent and CFO. So the parameters we have in the authorization for tonight would be that the maximum principal amount not exceed $75 million. We're only planning on $55 million at the current time, but if the market conditions are really good and we're able to get more in at the time, we wanted to at least have that flexibility to expand the size a little bit. The maximum maturity goes out to February of 2060, and the maximum true interest rate, we have an interest rate of 5.5%, and that's high. We would think right now that we're looking at somewhere around 4.5% or potentially lower than that, but that's just to give us a little room in that process. So the impact of selling this $55 million, we go forward tonight, would be that the potential INS tax rate could increase 5.5 cents up to 46 cents, which that's in line with the election. We wouldn't go any higher than that. We'll be working as we go through that to make sure, working with Paul and Ms. Epley to make sure that we don't exceed that, so we can stay within what we said during the election. Now this, I realize is hard to read, but this is a look at what the actual, all the numbers work out, what we've gone through with Paul, and looking at what the impact would be going forward. And it keeps us under that 46 cents with growth that we feel is conservative, realistic to conservative. And then this is a model, again, a lot of small numbers, but it's a model that incorporates the next issuances. Now we're hoping if this comes in with the low interest rates, if growth continues, maybe we can get the rest of it sold in the next issuance. If not, we may have to break it up into 3, but you know, we'll be monitoring that as we go forward after we get this sale and seeing what our next taxable values come in at. And then our little squiggly line just kind of giving a history of interest rates. This is our tax exempt index from 2023 up through this year. We had the rise back in late 2023. They came down, they've been creeping up, and then you can't hardly see it, but in the last 2 weeks or so, we've seen the market rates start to come down again. So we're hopeful that that will continue for another 2 weeks and maybe more. And we can take advantage of that and get these bonds issued at good rate. And even at the 4.5 where we are right now, it's still in a very good level. So we're pleased to be at this stage and ready to move forward, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? I appreciate how you guys always give us high numbers and come in lower. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
For the district.
Well, we're heading on, so.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and move the action item up.
Okay.
So just in case there's any further questions, we're gonna go ahead and take action right now. So if we can look at action item A. And if there's any further questions or discussion, if not, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that the board approve the bond order and delegation of authority to district staff to approve and execute related documents.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Clint, second by Lacy. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much, we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We look forward to reporting good news.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Later. Later. Doesn't even write a face. Okay. All right, so now we'll move on into our second discussion item, which is random drug testing program for extracurricular activities.
Excuse me. Thank y'all for having me again. Is that on? All right, kind of go back over what we talked about in last month and why we wanted to start drug testing. Purpose is to prevent injury, illness, and harms resulting from illegal and performance-enhancing drugs, alcohol at the district's junior high and high school, which is really to give the kids a reason to say no, to easy out. I don't want it to affect my other stuff. Any of the results from the test would only would only affect their extracurricular activities. It would not affect anything in school. There wouldn't be any in-school punishment. They would continue to practice. They just would not be able to participate in the contests or performances during that time. If it was a disciplinary issue, then they would go by the student code of conduct. Procedures, everybody, male and female, 6 through 12, that competes in the extracurriculars, part of an extracurricular program, will be subject to testing. Will have to sign off a waiver that they consent to being tested. We'll turn that into our company, who will randomly select our students. We won't know until that list, until they show up with the list that day. It'll have 15 students on there, or whatever we decide to do, and then have 5 alternates. So if a kid is absent, we would replace them with somebody. If somebody is present and then they leave, it would be a non-test. It would be a refusal. After visiting with Mr. Scarborough, what we thought was best for the schools was test each campus up to 4 times. We were really thinking 4 times at the high school, 15 tests 4 times, and test at the junior high 3 times, 15 tests per time they come in. That can be changed, go as much as we want to. But it does take time away from class, having those kids out, and we'd like to limit that, but still have the thought that they could get tested in their mind. If we look at that, $45 per test, and that may change, $5, $10. I don't think so, but 15 tests 6 times a year, that would be $4,725. So not a big burden to us, but enough to get everybody's attention. That's an 8-panel test. All the things that it's going to test for are right there. I probably mispronounced everything that I read it, but I'm being told that takes care of the most recreational drugs. It will hit on ADHD medicine. So if they're prescribed that, they have to use the prescription, and they'll be cleared from the failed drug test. But if they hit on it and they can't provide a prescription for it, then it'll be a failed drug test. If somebody tests positive, the initial test, they'll confirm it with a second test from the same specimen. They'll take 2 specimens, but they'll take 2 when they collect it from the students, one labeled A, one B. They'll test A. If it's positive, they'll test it again out of the same tube. If a kid wants to, or a parent wants to question the test, pay to have the other 2 tested, they can do that on their own and send it to a different laboratory. It has to be an approved one. And then, so that's kind of the appeal process for a failed drug test, that second tube. But it's double checked before they tell us about it. Once we find out about it, they are supposed to call the parent or guardian and let them know before they contact us. That happens the majority of the time. I think in 5 years at Mathis, I called one parent that had not been told yet. But we'll bring them in once that meeting's done, they have 7 days to appeal and give us an explanation for a positive test, whether it's a prescription or to appeal it. If they do appeal it, they'll be ineligible during the time of we were waiting for the appeal. First offense, we're recommending 30 days suspension from their extracurricular and counseling. We've talked to a couple of places that provide free counseling. We'll continue to look if it does get passed and get a few more options. Second offense would be 60 days and counseling as well. And the third positive test would be removal for a calendar year from the time of the test. Once you fail a test or refuse, you'll be put on the random list every single time. Kind of talked about the appeals already. While the appeals going on, students ineligible to participate in their activities. They can still practice, go through everything, be there with their teams, be there with their organization, but cannot go through the contest. Do you have any questions, concerns?
I do have one question. It's just, for the student, if a student was to test positive and they have their immediate, they're automatically on the next list, does that mean we're gonna test 16 the next time, or it means we're gonna test that one in 14?
That one in 14.
So say, God forbid, you end up with 15.
Then we'll probably have to change that.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not what we want, but that was gonna be my
Yeah,
question too.
yeah,
Yeah,
Is that this side?
yeah.
We've got bigger problems.
And you said 6th grade. Did you mean to say 6 through 12?
6 through 12 since it's in junior high.
Okay.
A question about the students who would be on the medications that would test positive is, are you gonna ask for those prescriptions to be on file, or is that something that they have to provide if they test?
That's something that we've had them in the past provide if they tested positive.
Okay.
So, and normally they call the parent or guardian first. Parent or guardian lets them know, hey, we're have a prescription for that medicine and send it in. And in the past, they've told me before they made the initial call, or whoever they report to, hopefully not me, but hey, we had 2 failures, one had a prescription for it, so they're cleared. Here's the other.
And if they don't sign at the beginning to give consent?
Then they can't participate.
Okay.
The only question I had is, I think you've probably shared this with us before, but are there any other districts surrounding us that are doing this?
Wimberley still does, they have random drug testing. Gonzales did, last time I talked to them, haven't talked to them in about a year or so. I can't remember, but there were a few that did. There were a lot that had, and some quit testing after COVID. Wimberley still does.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you very much.
So moving on into reports, we have campus activity reports. Do we have any questions or comments about any of those? Not, we'll move on into the superintendent's reports.
Okay. So the first report I have for you guys is a wrap-up of the end-of-year enrollment. Just wanted to give you some scope from our first report to our final report, so 9/5/23 to 5/24/24. So our elementary went from an opening enrollment report of 631 students to an ending report of 671. We know we fluctuate throughout the entire year, but overall, if you're comparing those two dates, you saw an increase of 40 students at the elementary level. At the intermediate, 538 students, with the final number at 560, which was an increase of 22 students. The junior high at 557 to an ending number of 568, which was 11 additional students. And the high school saw a reduction from 700 to 663 students, which was 37 less students. Remembering that if we do have students who are electing to not show up and get called out for truancy, they have been encouraged by the judge to attend a special school that allows them to finish online. And so we have seen that reduce some of our students, and then students who do achieve their credits and are able to move on. So wanted to make sure you were aware of those enrollment numbers. Always want to highlight our calendar of events, which is posted on our website. We are in full swing mode with summer, so we have strength and conditioning camps going on. Our volleyball summer skills camp. Just saw several littles finish the volleyball camp. There were over 100 kids involved with that. So definitely seeing our community engaged with our summer camps. Our boys and girls basketball summer skills camp will be going on, as well as our UTSA volleyball skills camp for incoming 9th through 12th grade volleyball players. We will have a special board meeting on Monday, June 24th, where we will review the code of conduct as a team of 8. And we will also see our next board meeting July 15th. At that particular time, we will honor our board member Hank, who resigned from his position. And so I do encourage everybody to come out and support that recognition. We will, for the second year in a row, be participating in the 4th of July Seguin Parade. Our cheer team and mascot will be there. We look forward to next summer, where we'll be incorporating our band. So we're continuing to engage with the community as a whole, and we're excited about the events that are going on. Lots of folks going to camps. We just sent off our cheer team to camp. So NCA is going on, so excited for that as well. Any questions? All right.
Moving on to district financial reports. Any questions or comments on that? If not, we will go on into the collaborative vision quarterly report.
All right, so as you know, we started a strategic plan through our collaborative visioning process with our collaborative visioning committee. And each quarter we'll be presenting to you some updates from that. So wanted to highlight that Celeste did a great job with our interactive flip book this time. We've decided to elevate the presentation of this quarterly report. So you can see here, we published this not only on our website, but gave it to you as well, where you can see as you go through, and if you'll just slowly go through, that's flying through. If you'll go back, please. I just want to show a few highlights. But you can flip back and forth, and so this will be something we'll be able to produce quarterly for folks to see. If you'll go back, it's a reminder of our priorities, but also we break down each of those areas of focus. The table of contents is designed so people can jump. So if you want to click on one of our topics, it will take you directly to the progress we've made over the year and the quarter. So we start off first with our CCMR. You can see highlighting specifically some of the academic progress. We'll be incorporating our athletics and fine arts as well as our CTE into this in future quarters. But you can see that we highlighted that we have brought back the SHAC and incorporated the DEIC in setting some goals for our future academics. You'll see here the professional development plan, as well as the summer school enrichment that we're doing now, and our teacher incentive allotment, which was approved by TEA. You'll see the Strong Foundations grant. We did see some significant increases in our academics in the areas that we did use the high-quality materials that TEA approved and we were able to purchase with our grants. You'll also see tech apps as a big focus. We know that some of the folks that were part of our committee had concerns that their students didn't know how to type, didn't know how to engage with things that weren't swiping. And so working towards that, hiring some staff to make sure that we have a robust tech apps program and also prepare them for taking the tests online. You see here that we have also highlighted some of our CTE and certainly our partnership with CTE and special education. All right, we also included our industry signing day where we had the mayor come out with our Economic Development Council and highlight those folks who were signing for industry jobs. We also have more CTE programming that we were highlighting throughout the year, and this shows that progress we made with CTE. Also can see those non-traditional fields for our female CTE participants, including welding and then future workforce readiness, as well as a robust program with FFA. This takes us into employee retention and recruitment. This obviously is something that is important as the landscape of education changes. You can see here that we did highlight what you guys were able to pass going forward as far as incentives and an increase in their overall compensation, which also included an increase in the contribution to insurance. As a former educator, I know that's one of the most frustrating pieces is to see that percentage increase come across in your paycheck to get eaten up by your insurance costs going up. And so we did have a very mindful look at that with our compensation task force, which is something I'm super proud of, bringing into the Navarro feedback loop is having staff be able to talk about what's important to them with compensation and understanding how compensation works. And so Paul and his team in the business office was able to work with HR and really present a variety of options. And I think you've seen after approving that we have one of the most robust increases in the area. Again, some folks went with their last ESSER dollars to do a one-time bonus payment, but you saw small increases, 1%, 2%. So for us to be able to offer 4%, as someone said to me at SLI, stop bragging. So we felt very proud to be able to offer that and continue to be competitive in developing true market value for our Navarro employees. Parent and community engagement. Obviously we started with a strong convocation and working with our parents for them to see how their students continue to inspire us as employees and build those relationships to help them shine as we showcase all the great work that our teachers, staff, and students do. We also have worked diligently this year to improve communication. So you see the quarterly report highlighting not only communicating what's happening with the new high school, we've got drone footage, we've got those weekly communiques, but also moving on to deeper issues that our families have been struggling with. And so we established the Navarro ISD Aware page to give parents some options of seeing how they can support their students in some things like time management, and certainly some of those things that are mandated to us like fentanyl awareness or gun safety. Again, we established our graduate profile, so you see that there. You also see our long-range facilities master planning committee, which had the ultimate challenge straight out the gate with a bond. And so if you see there, we have continued to communicate what that facilities planning committee developed for a 10-year plan. And so in this flip book, you can actually click on and see those PowerPoints, see those videos. So again, we really see this as an awesome interactive tool for our community members, our teachers, our staff to be able to see what's going on. You can flip through that. And of course, we highlight the progress with Bond 2024. So again, being able to see the presentations for that and understand, we still have people, even though it has passed, asking, now what did that mean? And so being able to communicate how that will work is part of these quarterly reports. So again, you see the tax implications, and then of course, how we're engaging with our students in the student advisory. You'll see in a future quarterly report, we'll be adding the staff advisory. You see here as well that we had an overhaul of our website. That website is still in construction, but we are wrapping up those transition pieces so that we're ready to go for the new school year and everybody can access in less than 2 clicks. Important information. We also highlighted the work that we are engaging in with Navarro Education Foundation, and then of course our new tradition of our community engagement event of Panther Palooza, which we really enjoyed putting together. And then of course we work with the SKI Chamber of Commerce. We highlighted our Educators of the Year with them, but continuing to work with the Chamber to educate them on our needs. Remember, they did pass a resolution to support our bond. Having that partnership go on, as well as working with the Economic Development Council. And then we have a final piece there, if you ever get a chance to check it out, which was our closing of the year PowerPoint that we showed at our last event together. Of course, we have all of our facilities planning and safety and security, so this involves a good portion of the bond, as well as our district growth, talking about the 10-year plan with the facilities, helping our community understand as we start to see those portables pop up, what that means, that even though, yes, you pass a bond, the building doesn't just emerge the next day, that we have to go through portables before we transition to the actual permanent facility. And then you'll also see some safety and security features. This is all part of our safety committee work, as well as the law, as well as our grants that we received. So you'll see those gates coming in. We'll finish up our film on all the windows this month, and then our numbering of all doors going into next month. And then finally, technology, where we're addressing the upgrades and security to our network. Obviously, a major piece of securing our facilities is our network infrastructure. You can see here some summaries of the assessments that we've done, as well as streamlining the apps. That's been a huge piece in talking with parents and teachers. There's a communication gap between the apps that teachers want to utilize and how many apps parents actually want to engage with. So working together to streamline that and help communicate that maybe we don't need a separate app for every class or every activity. How can we make those work together and help parents not have to click in or get notifications from several apps? And then moving into student proficiency with the keyboarding. This is actually something that parents have commented about, as well as other superintendents, especially going into online testing, that they feared that students really were struggling in the essay portion in their ability to actually communicate their thoughts because of typing difficulties. This district has already been ahead of that, in that one-to-one initiative was already happening and giving students opportunity to use keyboards. So we feel like we're in a good place, but we want to continue to develop those skills for kids. So the access to being able to communicate your thoughts is not a reason why you are not successful on an assessment. And that concludes our quarterly report. Any questions?
Questions? Dawn, I just really like that there's information available.
It's a great job. Thank you for putting.
For a long time, it felt like there wasn't. So.
I will say, yeah, the team did a great job. We had a deadline for communicating your update, as well as any pictures or visuals, and then Celeste put that all together under this book. So I think it's easy to read through, and it's a great testament to the work that's going on. I'm very proud of the team.
I think it's great for the parents, so. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the consent agenda. Are there questions, comments on anything that's listed there? If not, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Lacey, second by Melissa. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to action item B, random drug testing program for extracurricular activities. Are there any further questions?
I have just one question, and really is nothing that Rod or anybody, maybe you would know. I have not heard a lot. I haven't had anybody say anything to me about it, nor have I heard much from the community about their opinions about this. Have you received feedback from them? How receptive is everybody? Are you expecting? I realize there will be parents who will say, I don't want to sign, or we have to say that means you may not participate. Fine.
Right.
You know, I'm just curious to hear, have you received any feedback? Has there been anything really said? Because it's not the first time we've talked about this.
Right. No, I expected after the presentation last month that I would receive some phone calls or even just some questions, and I did not. I don't believe we've had certainly an outcry of frustration. I have had a couple of people say, I think it's time to do this just from a deterrent point of view, and they do echo Coach Blunt's perspective of that opportunity to have an out, right? And well, you know, they do drug testing, and I can't take that from you. And I think that any way we're able to give students an out that's easy for them is a great opportunity. I do agree, we most likely will hit somebody who says, I'm not signing this, I think this is illegal, I don't think this is fair. But the discussions I had with TASB in creating the policy reassured me. I mean, they don't flinch. They're like, oh yeah, we have that policy because there are so many school districts utilizing this. So I felt confident with that, but no direct feedback from parents.
A simple question, and maybe it's just me assuming what I heard in the past, because we've talked about this multiple years. Right here it says random drug testing. In the past, did it used to say random drug and alcohol testing, or has it always been just drug testing?
Well, I think we asked him about that at one of the presentations, and he said it wasn't gonna be alcohol.
Yeah.
Right,
I
that's
think it's
recent,
only been
that's recent.
drug.
I was trying to remember in the past if we had alcohol involved as well. I think.
I thought it was just drug.
But I would think for the alcohol, that would literally mean they would need to actively be
Doing
drinking
right
at
then.
school.
Oh, sure, no.
time.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like that would be a
Another
little
science-
harder.
We could pick up on that one.
Rereading
Not
it,
necessarily
just
having
rereading
to
it came to
test
my
it.
thought of, did it not used to say, you know, that was it.
Any further discussions? If not, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the revisions to the policy FNF local as presented.
Did you second, Donna?
Yes.
Okay. Motion made by Melissa, second by Donna. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Board may go into closed session. We will go into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss the duties of the superintendent. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss the employment, resignations of professional personnel to include teachers and other professionals. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.072 to delivery, purchase, exchange, lease, value of real property. And then pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to consider the annual evaluation and contract terms of the superintendent. Any related action will be taken in open session. So it is 7:40.
like super bright out there.
I know. Let's just hope that it's still bright.
We came up with that one. Not anybody.
Right, right.
Okay, I'll be working on it. Well, I hope this is gonna be a short one. Quick question
Okay.
for you. I know it's your last couple of days.
Oh, after this weekend, it's weekend. Yeah, but most of them
She puts every. Okay.
I've still got access this week and next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me take my water.
And then,
Where you're going.
Should be somewhere.
Not really.
We can, whatever, we can deal with it. Okay? Whatever the decision is, we will deal with it.
also be here enough about. That way, it's the old person's fault.
Love it. You have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, we just know. Calling on the record, Paul, let's get it out.
Oh, I can tell you that.
Which version? I was with one meeting.
One before that. When I went home. Hey, Clay?
Well, no, we need to find it. Yes, but
daughter had a skateboard, which looks really dangerous. She's like almost three. It's really neat. I'll send you one to your personal one, or, okay, alright. So I'll send you an email to your personal one, maybe tomorrow or the next day, kind of, you should the song, you should what it is. Tell him, Daddy, you're on the street, if we need to continue, normally the song is like, has a secret stash.
I know, but somebody knows that.
They've been eating it.
And Gonzalez, all that food is just for the board.
Oh,
No, the board barely eats anything. In Comal, they used to do like a whole spread, like they had them massive beach dinners.
Yeah, they used to bring Gonzalez, they would bring them dinner. Get it from the high school class, or they would cater it for some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, the board meeting was a little later. I didn't think it did start till 7, but you know, Comal, they would go 1, 2, I mean, even 3 o'clock in the morning, crazy stuff. Oh, ridiculous.
After you come in and do your I-9 and everything with Kathy,
yeah, it triggers from that, so.
they'll send you something you sign for the technology sector use policy, and once you sign that, go ahead.
Yep, I was trying to send you something today, some invitation for meetings, and you weren't. You did not exist yet. So I called our technology department and we filled me in on how that works. Our wonderful, amazing technology department.
Yeah, we have a process in place. So it has to follow the process. Because we shouldn't let people in our system if they have to agree to follow our policy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's also in the way, so,
Mine will be up.
mine is well. You know, give you your email, you haven't agreed to not, email students and cuss them out. Who's to say you won't do it? And if you do, we can't always say, well, I
Well,
didn't agree to.
If he's approved, he's coming tomorrow, right? And fill out the paperwork.
That was mine.
I have you back tomorrow, right? Yes, I'll be back tomorrow. And,
Yeah, as soon as you get that done. You get it
That's
done.
awesome.
You already have the information, it's basically once you sign it. You give us like a day, you can just log in. She'll give you the username and password information. I-9.
Okay, all this stuff in the hall, I can't see.
You're gonna hide behind it all.
I think you should go do the secret knock. Let them know it's time.
Yeah. I don't think that works on this group.
I just have to figure out what works and what makes them come to pass.
Right now it's next high school has like Surface Pro with junior high has which is a 2-in-1 laptop and touchscreen. Pretty nice. Once people know it's 2-in-1.
I was afraid to push it too far back. Everybody in technology walked out, and I had to like step into technology, which is a very scary thing when the Chromebooks were in really bad shape. And the first phone call I got was a teacher going, I have a kid that can't log in because the key doesn't work from the first letter in his first name. And like, I walk in, it's my kid. I was like, y'all set me up. Y'all set me up. So I went and found a plug-in keyboard. I said, here, plug in the keyboard and use this. It was a key issue. We got lucky. It was something I could solve. But like, so then that same computer, it would only open to this far, and the screen was like hanging right here. That's what was given to them. I'm not kidding. It was so bad. It was like split. And one of the teachers was like, you need to see it better. It was and broke it even more. And my kid like freaked out because that was like pay for this thing. And I'm like, he was like, oh my God. I was like, you're not paying for it. Right now I'm in the technology department. I know how bad it came to us. Just don't bring it any worse.
High school should get upgraded. It's elementary is next, intermediate is next, elementary and junior already have them.
Mike, you think you'll have some? I wonder if you listen to some. Did you sell the stuff out there?
Yes. They don't have cameras.
They did, sure.
Oh.
Cause like, last school, not this past school year, but the school year before, this was fourth, fifth, and sixth. And then this past school year, we moved sixth grade over to the junior high, and moved third grade up here, because this elementary couldn't handle it, they were busting it. So we had to go ahead and move it 2 grade levels. So, right on the other side of this wall was manhole. And,
I thought it looked like cameras.
should have walked through there. Oh, we heard it, and then it's not black ceiling.
Yeah, it was
It's
black.
not practice rooms, it's free, intermediates, nice manhole. Yeah, but, you can take a look at the stuff in the hallway as you go down the hallway. Uh-huh, yes. That's, come up with some discussions at the head of meetings. Right? We heard it a couple times and we're like, not ours, not ours, not ours, but, uh-huh. So, I guess it's all the stuff that we need to look at.
You see any other plans for the planners?
It's pretty cool. Talking to the right girl. She has access to everything. No, she does not have access